Good morning, student. Today we will discuss the new topic, proton nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. We also called as a PMR, proton magnetic resonance spectroscopy. In another way, H1 NMR spectroscopy. These are the names of PMR spectroscopy. Then we know firstly the definition of ESR spectroscopy, PMR spectroscopy. The definitions is study of interaction between electromagnetic radiation, that is EMR, and unknown sample or matters or compounds, we call as a spectroscopy. But there is a one spectroscopy, that is mass spectroscopy. It does not require electromagnetic radiation. It's required high electron beam. Nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy is commonly used as a most powerful analytical techniques and used in characteristic of organic molecules. Near about 80% structures we will try to analyze it. That's why we called as a most powerful analytical techniques. The source of energy in nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy is used radio waves, and radio waves having long wavelength and thus lower energy and frequency as well. Then NMR spectroscopy deals with the nuclear magnetic transition between magnetic energy levels of a nuclei. No doubt they are ground state to excited state. During this process the transitions is occur, and during this process the magnetic energy levels of that nuclei will be carried out. The first NMR observed in 1945 separately and independently. The two scientists involved in this study, the first scientist Purcell at Harvard University and Bloch at Stanford University. And finally, to use of NMR spectroscopy, investigated the molecules is ethanol and applied and studied in the year of 1951. In 1952, Purcell and Bloch awarded as a Nobel Prize in physics for the discovery. 1945 to 1942, after 6 to 7 years later, the both scientists awarded as a Nobel Prize in the field of physics for their NMR discovery. So with the help of the NMR spectroscopy, it's most powerful tool to use elucidations of organic as well as inorganic compounds. Dear student, we traditionally use techniques we call as a chemical analysis techniques, that is a routine practice in our laboratory. This is a one more advanced techniques we call as a spectroscopic techniques or instrumental techniques. We want to differentiate between two techniques. So why we learn these spectroscopic techniques? No doubt overcome these problems of chemical analysis techniques. Definitely these are the advantages of spectroscopic analysis techniques. So what are the problems occurs in general laboratory techniques we use? So the first point, the involvement of chemical change in the sample to determine the unknown sample. Means we use the specific compounds, we add some little amount of reagent in it, so molecules undergo some changes among itself for the unknown sample. So the particular test will be there. So this is specific color changing property, as there will be evaporation of some gas. So precipitations will be takes place. The molecules undergo changes itself. So during this unknown sample analysis, molecule changes will be occurs. But in a spectroscopic techniques, without involve the chemical change of sample to unknown sample. Okay, change is not occurs, means there is a particular analysis, then we get pure compounds. There is no interaction between any reagent with sample. The next point is that the large amount of sample is required to analysis in routine laboratory practices, but we use a very less amount of sample in a routine, in a very less amount of sample used in spectroscopic methods. Means in a mg is compounds sufficient to analyze a specific compounds. Then third one, the chemical analysis techniques, it's required more time, means time consuming process. We simply call as a time consuming process. Means it's required 5 to 6 hours. Even in 5 to 6 hours we can't analyze completely. So what we call, it's a time consuming process. But if you move toward the spectroscopic techniques, advanced analytical techniques, it's required a very short time. In a very short time we have to analyze completely. Then fourth point, sample cannot be recovered. If you analyze a single compounds, we perform a lot of tests during this analysis. Means suppose in BSc first year organic qualitative analysis, start from this preliminary test to last melting point, even detection of functional groups. So we carried out a lot of tests. Once we use this test, the sample does not recovered. So it means that we required more number of sample, and sample does not recovers again. But in a spectroscopic techniques, sample can be recovered. Sample can be recovered. So it means if you take this H1 NMR spectroscopy, then you can put at room temperatures. The particular sample remain as it is. Solvent is evaporated in a atmosphere. So we get the pure compounds. Then a fifth point, a chemical analysis technique, that is a tentative structures. We go for the near to the structures. But if there is a complex structure, so we go for this near to the structures. So but in spectroscopic techniques, we exactly absolute structures will be getting that times. Clear-cut structures we have to find out in a spectroscopic techniques. These are the problems we faces in chemical analysis techniques. These are the advantages in spectroscopic analysis techniques. So that's why we have to learn the new analytical techniques, that is spectroscopy, and especially in spectroscopy we have learned here the proton nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy.